went pale and began to shake her over. "You aren't really going to gobble up a child, aren't you?" he said. "Of course I am," said the crocodile. "Clothes and dirt. They taste better with the clothes on." "Oh, you horrid hoggish croc!" cried Mugwump. "You slimy creature! I hope the buttons and buggers are sticking your throat and choke you to death." The crocodile grinned up at Mugwump and said, "I eat monkeys too." And quick as a flash, with one bite of his huge jaws, he bit through the tree that Mugwump was sitting in, and down it came. But just in time, Mugwump jumped into the next tree and swung away through the branches. A bit further on, the enormous crocodile met the roly-poly bird. The roly-poly bird was building a nest in an orange tree. "Hello there, enormous crocodile," sang the roly-poly bird. "We don't often see you up here in the jungle." Said the crocodile. "I have secret plans and clever tricks. I hope it's not something nasty," sang the roly-poly bird. "Nasty," cried the crocodile. "Of course it's not nasty. It's delicious." "It's delicious. It's super. It's mushrooms. It's duper. It's better than rotten or the fish. You mash it and munch it. You chew it and crunch it. It's lovely to hear it go squish." "It must be berries," sang the roly-poly bird. "Berries are my favorite food in the world." "Is it raspberries, perhaps, or could it be strawberries?" The enormous crocodile laughed so much his teeth rattled together like pennies in a money box. "Crocodiles don't eat berries," he said. "We eat little boys and girls, and sometimes we eat roly-poly birds as well." Very quickly, the crocodile reached up and snapped his jaws at the roly-poly bird. He just missed the bird, but he managed to catch hold of the long, beautiful feathers in its tail. The roly-poly bird gave a shriek of terror and shot straight up into the air, leaving its tail feathers behind in the enormous crocodile's mouth. At last, the enormous crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle into the sunshine. He could see the town not far away. "Ho, ho," he said, talking aloud to himself. "Ha, ha, that walk through the jungle has made me hungrier than ever. One child isn't going to be nearly enough for me today. I won't be full up until I've eaten at least 3 juicy little children." He started to creep forward towards the town. The enormous crocodile crept over to a place where there were a lot of coconut trees. He knew that children from the town often came here looking for coconuts. The trees were too tall for them to climb, but there were always some coconuts on the ground that had fallen down. The enormous crocodile quickly collected all the coconuts that were lying on the ground. He also gathered together several fallen branches. "Now for clever tricks, trick number 1," he whispered to himself. "It won't be long before I am eating the first part of my lunch." He took all the coconut branches and held them between his teeth. He grasped the coconuts in his front paws. Then he stood straight up in the air, balancing himself on his tail. He arranged the branches and the coconuts so cleverly that he now looked exactly like a small coconut tree standing among the big coconut trees. Soon 2 children came along. They were brother and sister. The boy was called Toto. His sister was called Mary. They walked around looking for fallen coconuts, but they couldn't find any because the enormous crocodile had gathered them all up. "Oh, look!" cried Toto. "That tree over there is much smaller than the others, and it's full of coconuts. I think I could climb that one quite easily if you help me up the first bit." Toto and Mary ran towards that what they thought was the small coconut tree. The enormous crocodile peered through the branches, watching them as they came closer and closer. He licked his lips. He began to dribble with excitement. Suddenly, there was a tremendous whooshing noise. It was Humpy Rumpy, the hippopotamus. He came crashing and snorting out of the jungle. His head was down low and he was galloping at a terrific speed. "Look out, Toto!" shouted Humpy Rumpy. "Look out, Mary! That's not a coconut tree. It's the enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you up." Humpy Rumpy charged straight at the enormous crocodile. He caught him with his giant head and sent him tumbling and skidding over the ground. "Oh, wee!" cried the crocodile. "Help! Stop! Where am I?" Toto and Mary ran back to the town as fast as they could. But crocodiles are tough. It is difficult for even a hippopotamus to hurt them. The enormous crocodile picked himself up and crept towards the place where the children's playground was. "Now for clever trick number 2, he said to himself. "This one is certain to work." There were no children in the playground at the moment. They were all in school. The enormous crocodile found a large piece of wood and placed it in the middle of the playground. Then he lay across a piece of wood and tugged in his feet so that he could almost exactly like a seesaw. When school was over, the children came running onto the playground. "Oh, look!" they cried. "We've got a new seesaw!" They are crowded around, shouting with excitement. "Bags, I have the first go. I'll get on the other end, and I want to go first. So do I. Then a girl who was older than the others said, "It's rather a funny, knobbly sort of seesaw, isn't it? Do you think it'll be safe to sit on?" "Of course it will," the others said. "It looks as strong as anything." The enormous crocodile opened one eye just a tiny bit and watched the children who were crowding around him. Soon he thought, "One of them is going to sit on my head. Then I will give a jerk and a snap, and after that will be yum, yum, yum." At the moment, there was a flash of brown, and something jumped into the playground and hopped up onto the top of the swings. It was Margot Rump, the monkey. "Run!" Margot Rump shouted to the children. "All of you, run! That's not a seesaw. It's the enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you up." The children screamed and ran for their lives. Margot Rump disappeared back into the jungle, and the enormous crocodile was left all alone in the playground. He cursed the monkey and waded back into the bushes to hide. "I'm getting hungrier and hungrier," he said. "I shall have to eat at least 4 children now before I am full up." The enormous crocodile crept around the edge of the town, taking great care not to be seen. I'm going on a lovely white horse, cried another. I'm going on a lion, cried the third one. And the one little girl whose name was Jill said, I'm going to ride on the funny old wooden crocodile. The enormous crocodile kept very still, but he could see the little girl coming towards him. Yummy, yum, yum, he said. I'll gulp her up easily in one gulp. Suddenly there was a swish and a swoosh, and something came swishing and swooshing out of the sky. It was the roly-poly bird. He flew around and round the roundabout, singing, Look out, Jill! Look out! Look out! Don't ride on the crocodile. Jill stopped and looked up. That's not the wooden crocodile, sang the roly-poly bird. It's a real one. It's the enormous crocodile from the river, and he wants to eat you up. Jill turned and ran. So did all the other children. Even the man who was working roundabout jumped off it and ran away as fast as he could. The enormous crocodile crossed the roly-poly bird and waded back into the bushes to hide. I'm so hungry now, he said to himself. I could eat 6 children before I am full up. Just outside the town, there was a pretty little field with trees and bushes around it. This was called the picnic place. There were several wooden tables and long benches, and people were allowed to go there and have a picnic at any time. The enormous crocodile climbed over to the picnic place. There was no one inside. Now for clever trick number 4, he whispered to himself. He picked a lovely bunch of flowers and arranged it on one of the tables. From the same table, he took away one of the benches and hid it in the bushes. Then he put himself in the place where the bench had been. By tucking his head under his chest and by twisting his tail out of sight, he made himself look very much like a long wooden bench with 4 legs. Soon 2 boys and 2 girls came along carrying baskets of food. They were all from one family, and their mother had said they could go out and have a picnic together. Which table shall we sit at? Said one. Let's take the table with the lovely flowers on it, said another. The enormous crocodile kept as quiet as a mouse. I shall eat them all, he said to himself. They will come and sit on my back, and I will swivel my head around quickly. And after that, it'd be squish, crunch, gulp. Suddenly, a big deep voice from the jungle shouted, Stand back, children, stand back, stand back. The children stopped and stared at the place where the voice was coming from. Then, with the crashing of branches, Chunky the elephant came rushing out of the jungle. That's not the bench you were going to sit on, he bellowed. It's the enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you all up. Chunky trotted over to the spot where the enormous crocodile was standing, and quick as a flash, he wrapped his trunk around the crocodile's tail and hoisted him up and into the air. Hey, let me go, yelled the enormous crocodile, who was now dangling upside down. Let me go, let me go. No, Chunky said, I will not let you go. We both had quite enough of your clever tricks. Chunky began to swing the crocodile round and round in the air. At first, he swung him slowly. Then he swung him faster and faster and faster and faster still. Soon, the enormous crocodile was just a blurry circle going round and round Chunky's head. Suddenly, trunked like of a crocodile's tail, and the crocodile went shooting high up into the sky like a huge green rocket. Up and up he went, higher and higher, faster and faster. He was going so fast and so high that soon the earth was just a tiny dozen miles below. He whizzed on and on. He whizzed far into space. He whizzed past the moon. He whizzed past the stars and planets. Until at last, with the most tremendous bang, the enormous crocodile crashed headfirst into the hot sun, and he was scissored up like a sausage.